Oh yeah, y'all know what it is. Eagles wear boxing. Alrighty, we back up in here. Yeah, we've been running late shows lately. I just been behind, man. Sorry about that. What can I say? Shoot. But I put in time though. That's the point. I've been putting in work. I've been putting in time for y'all. So get off my back. No hassling me, man. No hassling the Eagles. Y'all go hassle somebody else, man. Don't hassle me about it. Yeah. Yeah. Got to keep my window open today a little bit. Got to listen out. Shit. Yeah. Yeah. So got to make sure, man. Yeah. There's what do you call it? We supposed to have a storm, you know. Okay. Let's see what I got to do here. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, yeah, we got supposed to. All I hear is traffic. You know, I live so close. I live close to the highway, so all I hear is cars. Cars, construction, gardening, or whatever, gardening, landscaping, kids. No birds today. That's all I get, man. I don't hear all this stuff like people hear. I don't get to hear all this stuff. It makes you wonder sometimes when you really don't get to hear as much as you think you should. A little bit of the traffic and stuff. I guess we getting some fights. I guess. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get these fights though. Yeah. But we're definitely supposed to get some fights. I guess all this stuff is this new information. I'm just reporting. You know, everybody. These fighters, man. Boxers are just they're on a different level now. It's on a whole different level, man, and that's why we can't. That's why we cannot, you know, put these comparisons up so much. These comparisons of these older fighters. These guys complain too much. All they do is complain. Don't want to fight. That's it. That's all they do, man. Is just complain and they don't want to fight. It's just sad. Yep, really sad. Yep, that's all it is. It's just sad. That's all I can say. Yeah. It's hard to even. It's really not a lot. I keep trying to I keep trying to come here and talk boxing, but it's just hard to talk boxing when it's just there's nothing there. You know, there's nothing there. There's nothing that I mean. The whole boxing picture is like who's doing what. The Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence. I heard that one was off. So I don't know about that. Tim Tszyu, and we of course we got Keith Thurman back in the picture. So is that going to really happen? I don't know. I don't know about the paperwork on it, but it seems like anything when they mention these fighters from down under in places like that, South America, no, I mean not South Africa. Anytime they mention certain fighters, it's usually a fight. The thing about it, man, is we got to think about this. You got to think about this. Is that these fighters in America are so called? It seems like it's nothing but talk when it comes to them. It's nothing but talk. We don't get the fights. We're not getting them. We just don't get the fights like we should. But hopefully we'll start getting fights. Hopefully we'll start getting the fights. I feel like we're like a lot of times we're on the road to recovery in boxing, where we're gonna get some fights, and then the next minute it's like all the fights are being canceled, or it seems like everybody's ducking. I don't know. It's just so many, and I'm always gonna bring up that cinnamon buns, Cinnamella. I got to always bring him up because the thing about it is he gets so much respect from everybody. It's like, dang, you guys, they act like he walks on, like he walks on air or something. Yeah, it's crazy, 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 crazy. We got all these American, so-called American fighters, and we can't get no fights. But I'm hearing stuff that uh, Ryan Garcia is supposed to be fighting Devin Haney again, but I don't know. We say it's own. That's the whole thing about it, man. If you're gonna say it's own, and we gotta see that it's own. We're not gonna just go by you saying that it's own. That we gonna you have a fight going. And if I was Devin Haney, I wouldn't even fight Ryan. Sorry, I wouldn't. I don't trust him because he'll try to find something that's better for him and pull out again. He'll pull out of the fight again. Come on, we gonna go a different way. Okay, now what you gonna do now? Yeah, yeah. But as far as in Joshua, I guess he is fighting in Ghana, right? Yeah. So if that's the case, I'm going with Ngannou. Joshua should probably win, but I'm just looking at just the whole thing with AJ. But I tell you one thing that a lot of people don't understand um, is that Ngannou, because I went back, I looked at some of his MMA stuff, right? And so I wanted to I want to analyze his his left hook and what it is. The reason his left hook is so hard. It's not really a snapping left hook. It's kind of a he has the like George Foreman type power. People's not realizing that because George never really like until he got older. He never really snapped his left hook. So in Ghana, for some reason, he has a way to generate power into his left hook that's reminiscent of an uppercut. And don't just listen to me and take my word for it. Just go back and look at how he throws his left hook. That's where that power comes from. That is, and I'm gonna tell you that's actually that's my teaching. The way that he throws the left hook is the way that I train people how to gain power. But he's able to use the left hook. He's able to use a, for lack of a better word, ratchet. It's so mechanical, but it's kind of it's a real ratchet type of not ratchet like in foul, not that kind of ratchet. Like it's a punch that you can gain a lot of power from using. Like you gain power from using that on a bag. So I'm just letting some of my, secrets out. But it's something else that I would do with it also, and not just that left. But if you think about this, that type of power, and with Joshua not being the fastest, and a lot of times gets too high on himself, he can slip up and get caught. You know what I mean? If he gets caught with that shot, I was saying that Ngannou is probably he's good at he'll be better at finishing. He'll be better at finishing. Now he might not have been able to finish off Fury. It's just like because arguably we're talking about the best heavyweight ever. Supposedly, a lot of people might say that. I don't think his skill set is that high, but against Joshua, it is going to be a whole different thing. It'll be a whole different ball game against Joshua because Ngannou I think he's really sturdy. Joshua I never really seen him put away somebody who's really actually just really sturdy like that. This like I don't know how are people reporting this though? How are they trying to say that Ngannou is chinny? Well, I don't know where they get this information from. These are idiots, man. That guy is not. There's no way that you can call him chinny. Like he's one of the three pigs or something. He's not no chinny chin. And if he is, we will see, and we will report here, because that's what I do. That's what we do in here. I will report that, and we will be laughing. So, if you decide to be chinny, and you are in this boxing game, and you're claiming this and you're claiming that you're the beast, and you make all these claims. And the thing about it in here is we got to see it. Y'all know how we talk about it. Let's see it. That's all we say is let's see. I had a good grown folks discussion. I guess a lot of people got scared about this discussion. Y'all didn't want to show up because you thought we was going to talk grown folks talk. We always talk grown folks talk, but right now we just talk a little bit about and just chopping it up, and I wasn't on live, but now I am. There's like a delay though. It's about 10, 15 seconds, so I guess I can wait. And for Gil, my little brother Gil Coles, I'm just hoping. I hope your boy. I hope it keep going. I hope he don't get knocked the f out. And Tim Tszyu is talking like he's just a complete monster. He's talking like, yeah, I'm knocking there. He got a list. I didn't read it or nothing like that, but I'm reading about it. But he got a list of people that he's supposed to be like he knocking out. He's talking about knocking out everybody. I guess I got to go look at his knockout list. He got to get past. I don't know why he looking past Thurman. Thurman ain't no punk. I mean, no, Thurman ain't a punk or nothing like that. He Tim Tszyu acting like he got everybody's number. I'm knocking out him. If Earl wants something, I'm gonna beat Earl up. If Terrence Crawford wants something, I'm gonna take him out. I don't know why he thinks his skill set is that high. I don't even know what his chin set is like. It's not like he's never been down. I think he better, I think he better I think he better chill out and try to win. I think he better try to get a win first. You better fight somebody and win. We know you beat up on a couple of people, but hey, you better fight somebody and win. You ain't. I don't think you the goods yet. I don't think you the complete goods yet. I see you snuck you. Yeah, I don't think you the complete goods yet. Where you can act like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, man. You ain't. Your resume is not like that yet. You're not built like that yet. You got to show me now. If you mop Keith Thurman and then you beat up a couple of other people, and you beat you beat Terrence Crawford. Who Terrence Crawford's getting old. People don't understand that. You never know when your brain is gonna switch up on you in boxing. That's one thing about boxing. When people think, oh, he's an elite fighter, stuff like that. And this is what I don't get: is these guys is bragging, snuck you. Everybody's bragging on the pound for pound, which there's only one pound for pound for me ever, and that's Sugar Ray Robinson. But when they talk about this pound for pound crap, why is it that pound for pound changes so frequently? When Sugar Ray Robinson was pound for pound, he was just pound for pound for like ever. But the rest of you guys are pound for pound just like for minutes. That shit changes every month. How could you have a serious conversation about somebody being pound for pound if it changes every week or every month, whatever? It seems like every other day. Every other day somebody else is pound for pound. Oh, he top 1 on the pound for pound. He top 3 on the pound for pound. He top 4 on the pound for pound. He top 10 on the pound for pound. He number 1 on the pound for pound. Pound for pound is just never. The only time they try to keep it, like for a couple of years or something like that, is when they had Lomachenko at pound for pound. I think he's the one I think he held it longer than anybody. But anybody else holding pound for pound like for nothing, you know what I mean? I should be making me some tea. I should have a spot of tea, but not that kind. Not English tea. I got this ginger. Yeah, he's at Crawford number 1 right now. Yeah, that's like right now, but you got to stop. Not you, but we got to stop looking at these fighters as being like they just untouchable, unbeatable, just because they run their mouth. Crawford is good. But see, I'm biased. None of these guys match up to the old fighters. Still, they just don't. None of these guys match up. Crawford's good, and I would say Crawford with if you look at Crawford, because of what he does, I would say he's like elite. But even though he's fighting, his opposition haven't been the greatest, but I would say he's elite, probably on a lower level though, not on the high level. I wouldn't put him on the high level because at welterweight, I could never see him getting close to beating somebody like Tommy Hearns. I can't see him get close to beating Tommy Hearns. Sugar Ray Leonard, I don't see him getting close to even beating him. I see it. Him and Sugar Ray Leonard would probably be a good fight. But Sugar Ray Leonard's stamina is just like, oh, he throws so many hands. That's what would mess Bud up. Is Bud's punch output. In that era, his punch output just wouldn't be high enough. Like if he's fighting Roberto Duran, somebody like that, his punch output is just not enough. None of these guys, they don't have the punch output to stay with those guys from the 80s. Nah, the punch output is just too low. From the 80s, early 90s and stuff, they're just not enough. It's not enough punch output. That even goes like with the heavyweights too. It's not, you guys don't have enough. You guys couldn't have dealt with those heavyweights of the 70s. You guys just don't have no punch output. And not that all of them had a great output of punches, but they, in certain parts of the fight, they had some output. Like, God dang, they throwing some punches in there. If you don't believe me, just go back and look at, who was it? I think it was Ron Lau versus Schaefer. Just watch. And you talking about guys that them punches that they hit you with, those are knockout artists. Those punches put your ass to sleep, like sleep. And they hitting each other with the punches and still they hanging in there until it just got too heavy in there. It just got way too heavy up in there. Yeah, he gets hit a lot. Tommy would knock him out. Oh yeah. Tommy Hearns, him against Tommy Hearns wouldn't that, nah, because his hit. The thing about him versus Tommy, I think his fill-out round, like when Bud was trying to do his fill-out round, or try to get brave and come back and try to throw punches back after he got hit hard, I think that would be his downfall. Because of Tommy's long arms, his range. Because once he tried to come back, like, oh shit, you hit me, and try to come back and start bringing the heat up when Tommy was in his prime, Tommy would love him trying to make that comeback. Because he'd be like, okay, you trying to come back, bam. Then he would get hit with another one. He'd get hit with another one of them right hands. And I tell you what, the thing about Tommy Hearns is that Tommy Hearns could hit fighters that other fighters couldn't hit. Like Duran had great defense with that head, that little side head movement. His kind of off balance movement that he had, he's kind of jerky. It's hard to hit. So, but Tommy, those type of guys that were hard to hit, Tommy never had problems hitting them. Trust. All those guys that was hard to hit, that shelled up. If you shelled up on Tommy Hearns, I mean, he'd break your ribs for shelling up on him. If you got in some kind of a shell, he'll bust you up. It's just you just be like a can, like a closed can, just folded up. No, it's that kind of shit didn't work on him. Yeah, was just watching Crawford Porter just now, and Porter was whooping him. Yeah, I don't even know why. Well, we talked about that in here before you was actually before you started coming here, and that whole thing with Porter. As a lot of people say that Porter was, about to get knocked out, was getting beat up. Porter was ahead in that fight. Porter let his defense get sloppy, and then he used that as the excuse for getting hit. I'm like, dude, all you had to do is just keep doing what you was doing. You was doing great. If anything, that knockdown might have made the fight even. It might have made the fight a little bit more even, but Crawford still wouldn't have been up. He probably would have still been down like 1 point. All you had to do was tighten up your defense. Like, okay, he's coming on now. That's all you had to do. And just keep doing what you're doing. Crowding, jumping in, doing wild shit. That's all you had to do, man. But no, y'all just do a towel and like, here's the towel. And I know you had been hurt pretty bad. I think that one shot that Earl hit you with, that was a pretty devastating shot though. That one hook. Because Earl hit you so hard, your lips touched the back of your neck. You see his lips stretch out. His whole, he just went down like, when Earl hit him. I think that punch did a lot more damage than what they want to admit. You know, I mean, he didn't get the dog shit beat out of him by Earl, but he took some punishment. Earl took a little punishment in that fight too, but Earl's different. Earl's cut differently because Earl never stopped, even though Bud stopped him, and I don't think Earl was neurologically correct for that fight. When I looked at him before the bell, I said Earl ain't ready for this fight. I said something's wrong with Earl, and I don't even try to make up excuses. But man, I'm a person. I've been studying people on my own all my life. I study people. I just watch people. I watch people's demeanors. You know, when I first meet a person, I watch them. I try to see what they're about. You know, I watch their mannerisms, and I look in their eyes and stuff. And you know, you might agree with this or not agree with this. That everybody on this earth, there's not one person on this earth that's actually sane. It's hard. Not your parents, not you, not me. There's nobody on this earth that's actually sane. We came here with a little bit of craziness for some reason. But that's my thing is that's my thing that I'm trying to discover is I never discovered why do we all come here like kind of like something's wrong with us when we come here. There's something wrong with us when we come here, and I never could figure that out. It was something done to us. I don't know if it's as when you're first born that you're traumatized. I don't know what it is. But there was something that was done to everybody, not just one person. There's nobody who's sane. I'm telling you. Everybody has a little bit of insanity for some reason. They just do. And see, that's what I've been observing like all my life. I look at, and you could actually see it. You can see it in the person's eyes. And usually the person's is more pronounced in. If you look at people, I'm not going to tell you which eye, but one of their eyes will be smaller than the other eye. That's the ones that's really pronounced in. The crazy ones, one eye is kind of off. And it's not neurologically off. It's just, that's a physical thing. It's just off. You can just see, okay, so that eye is a little bit smaller. So that means you're this type of personality. You can just, I don't have to ask no questions. And the thing about it is you could test that theory. You could test it. If you want to find out if somebody's crazy or not, especially when it comes to girls, if you want to be with a girl or something, you might have to give her a crazy test. Or a guy, you give them a simple crazy test. You do something that you didn't really do, but just to see there's something that they should react to, and see how they react. And if they just go completely crazy, then you know which side it is. Because some people have that passive, like most people have some kind of passive aggressiveness in them or whatever. So what you do is you just tell them something. Like say for instance, you tell somebody, oh, I'm sorry, you know they love a certain thing, like they love their a certain drink, but they trust you to put sugar in it or something like that, and you purposely you bring them something else, you bring them. They have enough that they don't that you can bring them one or two glasses or whatever. But you say, oh yeah, accidentally, oh I did this, I messed this up, I put salt in there. You put salt on the food that they have made some perfect food or whatever. You tell them, hey, that you dumped some salt on it, and see how they react. See if they're just rational. Oh, if they tell you, oh that's okay. Things like that happen. We just scrape it off or something like that. We'll try to salvage it or whatever. Then that person, even though everybody's crazy, that is probably a person that you want to be with. If they just go completely ballistic and say that was the last piece of meat that they had and all that, and they just go crazy, you probably don't want to be with them. You want to be with somebody. I don't know. Everybody has different personalities they want to be with, but you probably want to be with somebody who's got who can be rational. Or who can just take stuff like it is, There's people, a lot of times I do stuff, people say, how you just do that so calmly? It's just like it's no big deal to you. I said, because I can't let anything like really affect me. I can't let people run up to me and yell or go crazy for it to affect me. Because when they're doing that, I have to be the psychologist. I'm seeing through, that's a problem right there. That you actually have a problem. I'm like, okay, you got a problem. I'm not going to escalate anything. I'm not trying to get in any kind of trouble with you. I'm not trying to get no other. I'm not trying to get no strikes. I ain't trying to go back to jail or nothing like that. So hell no. Because where I live at, when you go to jail, they make you handcuff your own self when you go to jail. They make you have to handcuff your own self. That's fucked up. They told me to cuff myself to a steel chair. Yeah, let's go over there where everybody else, it's like 6 or 7 people over there cuffed up. Go cuff yourself. I cuffed myself up and then got mad that I cuffed myself a little bit too tight. I tried to break the damn chain. I was pulling on that shit like clank, clank. And then I had like about 2 other people trying to break their chains too. Like, man, F this. We was all mad. So I'd rather be locked up than chain like that and have to chain myself up. Okay, he wouldn't have time to think versus time he lights out. He said fourth round. He said fourth round to be over with. Earl even against Porter had great defense. Crawford he had zero defensive reaction. Yeah, so the thing I don't like about Bud is that Bud is more. His defense ain't great. He's more reactive though. He relies on he's real good reflexes. So he relies on you doing something and him coming. This like I'm always trying to teach people. Like you're throwing the punches. He's making sure that that punch didn't land as good, or if it did, he's making sure that he's hitting you right back with something else. He's hitting you before you can get your second punch off. You know what I mean? He said with his mouth dragging to one side. No, I'm not talking about people that's that nutty, not that is that crazy. I'm talking about everybody has a little bit of craziness in them, but we're bought into this existence like that. So in order for us to get rid of that, we more or less have to do psychology on ourselves. That's what I'm saying. So we have to more or less do our own psychology on ourselves. We got to analyze our own self. You know what I mean? In order to to combat it, to keep it low, keep everything, the Fußgraben, what they call it, Fußgraben or whatever they call it, the yin and yang. We want to try to keep the balance, but it's a lot of times it's hard for some people to keep the balance because they just so, especially from, and I don't like to pick on women, but they if you got a high strung woman, they just stay like that. They could never be calm. They just always going like crazy. It's like, damn, could calm down a minute? You're going to get us both, hurt up in here, running your mouth. I know you ain't doing this and that. And then when they take a 2-piece, like that lady she had to shoot that man. That man told her to stop talking or whatever. He told her if she say one more thing, he going to put the 1s and 2s on her. And she wasn't listening, and he put the 1s and 2s on her. It's like, you girls got to listen when if a man tell you, evidently he's having some kind of problems. But if a man tells you that he gonna put 1s and 2s on you, trust. You feel me? Trust. He's gonna put 1s and 2s on you. That's what he said. He said, I'm gonna put these 1s and 2s on you. So that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get them 1s and 2s. 1s, 2s. So don't get yourself in trouble when you get those 1s and 2s puts on you. I got sisters, so. I mean, I was always this thing. I always had to just sit back and be like, oh man, I hope they be okay. I hope this guy be okay with them or whatever. It's like, I might have to go over there. I mean, I don't know how. I don't even know, man. I was a youngster. I don't even know how many guys I had to put some pieces on because of sisters. One in particular. I always had to go piece somebody up because of my sisters. Like, if you just would just be quiet sometime. Stop running your mouth and this and that, because nobody want to hear all that all the time. Sometimes we'll listen, and then sometimes we're like, nah, I don't want to hear all that. But just, I mean, now, it's not about the 1s and 2s. It's about the pew, 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 pew. That's what it is. Speaking of that, I'm just neglecting my brother Derek because I should have already been, I'll get started probably next week. I mean, I'll get, it won't take me that long anyway, but yeah, I got to start working. I got to get his, blade together It's my blade runner. I gotta get the blade together because I got the stuff lined up. I got everything up here. I got the idea. Once I get the idea, I can get stuff done. Yeah. So what do you think about Shakur talking about he retired? So now Shakur Stevens says he's talking about that he's tired of the boxing BS, weak ass, calling boxing weak. If I'm not mistaken, you're the one that came off your worst performance. Nobody came off their worst performance. You came off your worst performance. Devin Haney comes off his best performance, and you come off your worst performance, and now all of a sudden, now boxing is weak. You didn't get the knockout or nothing. Then had the lowest output of punches in boxing history. But boxing's weak. Well, you should have made boxing not weak and just put hands. Because if you go back to, in history, the way the fighters even talk was different. Like, I always bring up, I like Sweet Pea, partner of Sweet Pea Whitaker. He'll tell you that he ain't going for no knockout. He said, but he gonna put hands on somebody, and he used to put hands on fighters, and he could hit a lot harder than what people thought he could. He had hand problems, but when he first started lightweight or something like that, he came out. He was dangerous with them paws. He was putting people out. You was talking about the front hand, aka left hook, in martial arts. They call it push punch, hips, shoulders, and explosion. Oh no! The punch I was talking about when I first started, I was talking about Ngannou's punch. Ngannou's left hook is a punch that I teach for power. But most people, you can't use that kind of a punch in a fight. You usually can't use that. Most people don't have enough power. You build power with that punch, but that punch is usually not. It's not a punch that usually has power. It usually has power if you got massive shoulders like George Foreman. If you got massive shoulders, then that punch is like a kick. Because you're swinging off the shoulder, so everything is coming from everything off in the shoulder. You know, the rotator cuff part, the shoulder is coming out of that, and it's just hard to just like, because it's the whole. It's all like this. There's no turning, there's no snap. Like some martial arts punches start from this side, boxing might start from here. And just from here, whereas some martial arts punches start here and they turn them all the way over. You get a whole three. See what I mean? You get a whole 180. Boxing, you get a 90-degree turn with boxing. Everything's 90 degrees. Everything's 90 degrees. You know, a lot of the, flip. So that flip, that's a disarmament. Poof, and then over. The back fist. My favorite punch, the eagle. Eagle beak. That's what we call that punch there. Eagle beak. You use this. So you use this punch when you're paralyzing somebody. It's good paralyzing, especially in the spine. If you hit somebody in the spine and you hit somebody, you make that hard enough that one punch sticking out. You hit them inside the arms and you hit them inside the spine or the cervical spine or something like that, or temple, or throat, or something. That eagle beak, that punch, it really gets into. Yeah. You say only beginners lack power? Nah. Everybody just don't have the power, man. I don't care. Some people just don't have power. They just don't. Because just like they say, speed, you generate power with speed. A lot of times you have less power with some speed. Some speed is so fast it's just more of a sting and pop. Just think about it. Even if you took a whip, a whip hurts, and it would sting you if it's fast. You hit a whip like, that's a lot of speed, but it's not necessarily a lot of power. Where if you took the part of the whip and took that whole whip and hit somebody with it, now that's some power. You can knock somebody down with the whole portion of the whip. It's just like you're using the whole portion of your arm when you throw it like that. When you go like that, you're using your arm, but all the snap, all the power is coming out of here. But there's a dilemma there too. Because if it's not solid, if you're just there's no power with that speed. If you're just now, if you got speed and that whole power in to make it snap like a machine, pow, then there's a lot of power behind it. Anyway, he did it himself. He was scared of the guy. He was scared of that guy. Well, make yourself retire. You just gotta learn when to commit. Yeah. Okay, he said Eagle Beak. He said my dad taught me that. Yeah, Eagle Beak. My name is Eagle, man. I'm about everything that's Eagle. Eagle Claw. I'm about all Eagle stuff. I'm about Eagle Claw. I'm about Eagle Beak. Eagle Wing. I'm about all of it. Eagle Slap. Chop. Eagle Chop. That little turn that way and then underneath. You say your dad taught you that? Yeah. Well, that's the only thing. Like a lot of times, like if you get in like to street fights or something like that, or you get into like, I mean, I don't know what to do. A lot of times, I'm not a street fighter, so I don't know. I think I go crazy, but I try to stay calm now. Like I try to stay a lot calmer than I used to. But I could go crazy. It's like, but you never want to get in a fight with somebody that's going to do almost everything they know to you. And I will. I'll do everything I know to you because I don't think I deserve to be in any kind of fights. So I think everything that I know, I think I'm going to do everything I can to you. My whole thing is I'm gonna try to make you eat everything that's around you. I'm gonna try to make you eat. If there's a fire hydrant out there, I'm gonna try to make you actually eat it, swallow it. If there's a window, I'm gonna try to make you eat that window. If there's bricks out there, I'm gonna try to make you eat the bricks. If there's a pole out there, I'm trying to make you eat the pole. Everything, the sidewalk, concrete. Because I just don't feel it's necessary for somebody to even attack me or act like they want to fight me in the first place. It's like, okay, so it's not really fighting because I'm not boxing you, or it's not a competition, so I have to hurt you as bad as possible. Because I think that fighting, if you're fighting me, you're not challenging me to fight. You're challenging me to like a duel. Like the old Western thing. You're challenging me to a duel. You're challenging me it's me versus you. So it's not, I'm doing everything. If I got a bite, I'm biting. He dirty. It don't matter. You gonna infect me anyway. That's why I don't like hitting people in their mouth, man, because their mouth be bleeding all over your hand and stuff, man. You got teeth marks in your hand. I don't like that. He's shaking his hand, all kinds. It looked like a cartoon or whatever. He's shaking his hand, all kinds of teeth coming out of his hand. It's like, damn. To knock somebody's whole grill out their face. That's a hard ass punch. He's big. He's a big dude. I mean, big. I don't know if he's, as far as weight wise, I don't know if he's ever heavy as me, but he's big. Disciplines and stuff like that. I started with boxing and karate. I started with, Kempo boxing, Kempo karate, taekwondo type of stuff, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, that type of stuff. I try to do everything. I try to do a lot of different, so now I want to just go back. I want to do defensive martial arts, like Aikido and stuff like that. I just like to keep up on stuff. I just won't spend all that money, but I like to just learn different stuff. I just haven't been into it as much. I kind of analyze stuff though. So I'll watch somebody's art. I'll watch like what you're doing. I learned a lot of stuff from just watching. I watch and I just learn like okay, and then I just practice on my own. Everything I do, like my music and everything, I learn everything. I usually just learn on my own, you know. Because even when I use time for stick, nobody taught me time for stick, but I just learned how to do time for stick. I haven't done them for a while though. Well, you got to learn how to do them because you end up cracking yourself when that shit hurts. So I just use time for stick on my own. I grew up with one of my cousins. He was like, he's a blade expert. I'm not a blade expert. I love using knives, but I'm just not a blade expert like him. Shit, he'll pick your ass off from probably 100 feet away. And people talk about these guns and stuff like that, but he'll pick your ass off. I'm telling you, before you can get that gun out, you already cut. You already cut. You're not gonna worry about pulling your gun out when you're trying to take a knife out of your body, or you just worried about that knife being in your body 6-7 inches, because you probably can't pull it out. You probably have to go straight to the ER with the blade up in your ass. Oh, yeah, yeah. But I love everything. I love like the old fashioned weapons, man. I show some of my stuff in here sometime. I show them. I got an ancient weapon I actually refurbished it a little bit. My friend was working on it. I said, shit, I took over it. So I took it over. It probably could use, I'll probably change. Who knows? I might change it again. It depends on if I find a different handle. I might change it again. But this guy was telling me, he said, oh, that's just all glued together. That's just a prop piece or something like that. I said, no. I let people hold it, and I let them tap it to the ground, and I let them think about it. Like, what do you think? What kind of damage do you think this weapon can do? They like, man, that thing it would take you out. I said, yeah. All my stuff will. I got dance sticks. Like my dance sticks, they're actually weapons too, but I use them to dance with. But they can take you out. Okay, let me see what Snooky done put down here now. Okay. He said, my dad. He said, always said you can die in a fight. Take them out in any no rule. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, brother. Yeah, there's no rules. If you fight me, if you fought me when I was younger, when I was a kid, yeah, we'd probably just fight. I end up with a black eye or something like that. I never had a black eye. I've had bloody noses, busted lips. Oh yeah, I've had a cut eye. No broken jaws, nothing like that. No loose tooth. Not knocked out, but loosened tooth. That's about the extent. Besides I've hurt my hands though. But that's about the extent of everything that I've never been knocked out. That's my extent of damage done to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not gonna say what I've done, but that's just my end of it, which is cool. The thing about me is I have a conscience and stuff. So even if I look back on the past, a lot of times I feel bad. I don't feel bad what was done to me, because I always look at I could have done better. Maybe I just wasn't into it, and I had a lot of rules when I was growing up. I wasn't really allowed to really fight. Even I used to sneak and fight. Like the only person in my family who I could fight in front of, who I wouldn't get in trouble, was one of my aunts. I could fight in front of my aunt, I wouldn't get in trouble. I couldn't fight in front of my mom. I'd be in trouble if I fought in front of my mom, I'd be in trouble. But I was my aunt's I was her nephew. I couldn't do nothing wrong. They loved me. I mean, I used to be able to stay at the house. None of their kids could stay at the house when they got a certain age, but I could stay at the house all day. Nobody could stay there. Just me. Just Eagle. I could hang out with them, do what they do or whatever. Talk bad about their kids, with them, and just be laughing and just be cracking up. So I miss her. She's not around no more, but I miss her, man. I used to be crack. She used to have me cracking up. It's just so. I mean, I got so many stories. Man, I could write a book, a bunch of books, probably 100 books. It's just so much shit happened in my life, man. Just being a military guy and everything else, and just being travel, always moving. It's like, yeah, that's crazy. I'm thinking about moving over to Asia though. I'm thinking about it. I just got to find a spot. I got to find somewhere I can go over there where there's no static. You feel? Let me see what you. Let me see. Yeah. Snuck again. Yeah. Okay, I'm hop keto. Okay, but I learned a lot from my homie Bruce Lee style. Okay, yeah, Bruce. That's one thing. If you study Bruce, you can learn a lot of stuff from him because he was more. He was actually MMA before MMA was. They just don't give him credit for it. He was already MMA. See, a lot of times in MMA, they say all that flying stuff don't work, but it does. Because you see a lot of those guys come flying off of the cage and stuff like that. That's actually a horrible thing to do. Is that damn even for them fighting in the cage, they shouldn't even be fighting in the cage, man. There should be ropes around there. They cage it off where you can't really see as good as you need to be able to see, man. I mean, come on. You can still have an octagon, but just make ropes. Because I think anytime that's street fighting, to be honest. It's street fighting with a little bit of rules. It's the same rules. But what y'all don't understand is they let you choke in MMA, but you can't, like... If you can choke somebody, you should be able to hit somebody in the balls. If you can choke, how come I can't hit you in the balls if you choking? If you choking on the street, I'm going to hit you in your balls, somehow. I'm trying to ram you, like I said, I'm trying to ram your back into like a fire hydrant or something, or a steel pole. I'm trying to headbutt you, everything. You know what I mean? I'm stomping on toes, kicking, all that. I don't know. All these disciplines, they something else, man. I understand the MMA, because sometimes MMA can be boring. Like when they just stand up, they ain't did shit for the whole round, or just crawling. I like some of the grappling. Sometimes it's pretty cool. But they be hitting while you down. They do all the stuff that I was taught as growing up that you don't do. Because I don't know how most people grew up. When I grew up, all you could do was fight. All you could do was box. You couldn't wrestle and choke people out and shit like that when I was growing up. That was unheard of. So, well, he choking. You couldn't kick, none of that. You couldn't kick, you couldn't scratch. You had to just throw hands. That's all you could do was throw hands. You couldn't do all that other shit. I mean, you could get a person down, but that only lasts so long. You couldn't get them down and then start hitting them. You might get them down, maybe smack them around a little bit, but nah. Most time, if you was fighting, you had to be, you had to fight a person. You had to be up. You had to be up fighting them. And then, if you won, then you make. This is kind of cold. We were cruel. So if you win a fight, you made a person eat dirt. So you make them eat dirt. When you make somebody eat dirt, then you won. You said passport bros? I don't look at it as being a passport bro. I just look at it as just getting the hell out of here and just doing something else. And the whole thing about that whole passport bro thing, that's overrated. These guys are just trying to get away from drama. What it is they live somewhere where all they're running into is bullshit. They're running into females. There's nothing but BS. That's what they're running into. And so what it is they're getting tired of it. It has nothing to do with the passport shit. It's just like, I'm tired of this shit. But see, the thing is, but you can move within the states. You can move somewhere else. But it may be the same exact thing again. So why not go somewhere where it's proven that the ladies are uh, the type that you want? So some guys want a woman, they want a wife or woman that can cook and all that, right? So you got a woman who could cook, she's gonna clean, she's submissive and all that, and she got your back at the same time. Then you might want to move out of the area that you at. You got these girls that's self-sufficient. They feel like they're self-sufficient and they don't need a man. You don't tell me what to do. I got my own money. I can stand up for myself until they get knocked out. And then you just maybe you don't want that you don't want that to raise your children, because if you have girls, do you want a would you want a woman this wife material to raise your children, or a woman this this manly to raise your children up? You gotta think about it like that. I know some of you go back to some of the old school, the moms and grandmoms. Yeah, they still smack you around. That's different, but they're nurturing. You can smack somebody around, but you still got to be nurturing at the same time. Yeah, I took a lot of smack. I took a lot of smackdowns. I took my smackdowns like a man, though. Because sometimes you gotta, sometimes you gotta take a smackdown. Just smack your ass down. You ain't got no problem with it. Sometimes you just laugh about it. Shit, I used to make myself get beat. He's in my opinion, Crawford beat Spence because he's an MMA fighter, wrestler background, same as Fury. You said Fury fights Spence couldn't bully Fury. Couldn't bully. Oh, okay. I think you meant Ngannou. Yeah, I don't even know about that whole. Well, Bud, you gotta look at what Bud does sometimes. Bud throws a lot of elbows. Bud does a lot of little tricky stuff that you gotta watch him doing it. He's sneaky. He's really sneaky. Elbows, and he hits behind the head a lot. Just go back and look at something. Just look at his fights. You'll see. He hits behind the head. It's a lot of stuff he do. A lot of dirty stuff. Earl just tries to keep it clean. He's just clean, effective punches. You can't always do that though. When somebody doing dirty shit, you got to put your elbow all up in their neck too. You got to do them the same way they doing you. So I was told. So one of my best kicks is my side kick, and my roundhouse kick is pretty good kicks. Those are my most powerful kicks. I haven't kicked in so long. I don't know last time I actually even kicked something. I mean, I have recently, but it wasn't like a real like a kick. It wasn't that type of a kick. Sounds good though. It's like yeah. Put the bag up and just start kicking again. But who am I practicing for if I start kicking? Just do it to stay. When people say stay in shape, yeah, you only stay in shape so long anyway. I think you just got to stay. It's not even about fitness. It's about life. Just keep yourself, just keep yourself decent. Right now, my hands is tender, man. I couldn't even hit nobody right now. I haven't trained because I usually have this girl that I train, and she usually helps me keep calluses on my hand. I got one. Shit, there's one. I got one callus left on my hand. So I didn't have none. I went to I went and got a massage, and the girl told me how much. She said I don't. She told me I don't work. She says, "Oh, you don't work." She said, "You must not." She said, "You don't work." She's like telling me my hands are soft as a kitten. They are kind of soft right now, though. It's kind of sad. Cause I like for a guy to have rough ass hands. I'm not saying don't use lotion, but I'm just saying guys should have rougher hands. Though your hands ain't got no business being all soft and shit. Oh yeah, shit. That's it's not a compliment. It's not a compliment when a girl tell you, you meet a girl and she says, "Oh, your hands are so soft." Like, yeah, thank you. I want to have soft hands. They supposed to look at your hands and your nails and say, okay, the only reason they look at your hands and nails is to tell you, yo, that your hands aren't dry, that you didn't put something on your hands. A lot of people think that a man using lotion and stuff is woman like, or it's not manly enough. But at one point, you got to have some kind of lotion on. Come on. Well, because girls don't like the gorilla hands, and I mean anymore. I mean, certain stuff. But everything we have lost. Everything is like they want us to mask the way that we smell, all that. But you don't smell good though, and you don't smell good because of the way you eat, and it has nothing. It's not because of. Um, I don't think it's because of anything other than the way that you eat and drink, and you're throwing your whole balance off. Because see the thing about it is I'm teaching you something about biology. Is that a man should love the way that a woman smells. That's part of your attraction, and a woman should love the way that you smell. That's part of the attraction. It's not because of the cologne and the soap. They should love your smell. And then when I say your smell, I don't mean that because you've been working out for 10 days in a row and you didn't change you never changed your sweatsuit or nothing like that and didn't take a shower. Not that smell. That's a whole different smell. But just your normal smell, just like your normal smell, your wake up smell, your go to bed smell with no soap, no. They should love that, and you should love the way they smell. If you don't, then there's some kind of physical issue. There's something wrong. There's some kind of a problem, or you just might not be attracted because you realize you got different. Every man is gonna have different pheromones, and every woman's you're gonna have different pheromones and stuff like that. So it's all gonna be different. Like you might like the way a woman look. Oh yeah, she's beautiful, but you might not like she bothers your senses, but you didn't even realize that because you was on that whole physical thing where you was looking at that plump. You know what I mean? That's what you was looking at, like, oh yeah, she got that plump back there. That's what you was looking at. So, but it didn't pan out for you because, just her, everything else, pheromones wasn't on. There's some girls, I just, when they hug you or whatever, you can smell them like, oh man, I like the way she smells. And it's not the smelling, you're not smelling the perfume. You might smell some of it, but if you could get their essence too, same thing with females, then that's what you go for. You could tell, because a girl will hug you longer than what she needs to hug you. Gotta give y'all some different teaching. Crescent kick, my best, or the dog killer knife kick. But he said, but I'm retired now. Yeah. Yeah, we all retired, man. It's just something. It's not even something that we really needed. I mean, we were supposed to learn all that stuff to be honest, I do all this boxing talk and all this other stuff, but we should have been out of this. Like, by the time we get 12 years old, we should be already finished with all our training and stuff like that. And then we go through another training after we go through life a little bit. We maybe go through another training for protection of your community, your family, and stuff like that. But to make yourself into a weapon, because a lot of times you're not all the stuff you're hand to hand. You're not probably going to use hand to hand. They don't use hand to hand right now. They use drones and everything else. So what is a good crescent kick or a roundhouse or a side kick? What is it? What is that? What does that do to a person? What does that do to a drone? How effective is that against a drone? See, that's what a lot of people don't understand. You got the boxing, you got the MMA, and you got other stuff, but none of that stuff is effective in war anymore. But we used to fight a different way. We used to fight in a way where sometimes you had to use hand to hand and you had to use different weapons. But now, it's just is a disadvantage to any army or any military when you don't have like a F-22 fighter jet. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. He's gonna send so many missiles and just take off. All you're gonna see is missiles coming in, and that's gonna be your last memory. You said funny. I said the smell thing. I got a thing for you, man. Come on, don't keep it PG. Keep it for entertainment purposes. Don't go into none of your sex rated stuff, man. No, go ahead. Yeah, you're right about that. Honor is lost for sure. That's not war. That's see what that's called is that's called destruction. That's not war. That's destruction. Destruction is different from war. War means there's a real cause on both sides, and you guys really believe in war, and war is also only because whoever was in charge, the generals or whatever, couldn't agree. They didn't have a peace talk that they should have had. So that's why you end up with the war. And I completely got off the whole boxing, but yeah. But it's not really nothing for boxing, but we just got to wait and see if we can get, if these fights is happening. But Tim Tszyu doing a whole lot of talking like he the man now. I don't know. You got to show us that you the man now. Yeah. What happened to your story? Yeah. Okay, I'll calm down, man, so you can get your story off. You said genocide. Yeah, it's just destruction. We could use genocide, but see, genocide. If it's genocide, and it's not helping out generations, it's the subsiding of generations, then that's part of it only. Because that only involves the human genome. But when it's destruction, it incorporates everything. That means you're killing animals, you're destroying buildings, you're destroying the people, you're destroying, not just the infrastructure, but you just the whole way of life. Genocide, which there have been plenty of them, or just invasion, like when they invaded this country, and then they also pretended that the buildings that we had already created, that they pretended that they made these buildings, but with their trickery of the English language, on a lot of these buildings, they put the word founded on these buildings. That's because they did find it. You look back at some of the old past pictures from the 1800s and stuff, you see all these old shacks in the middle of nowhere, and they riding around with horse and buggies. They didn't even make a lot of those buggies. They didn't make. They just turned them into buggies. The buggies was just leftover stuff, and they just started using them. Put a horse on them and and just start using them. You got to think about it. They didn't have the means. They didn't have the varnishes and stuff like that for all that wood like you see. If you're living in wood shack, but then there's a building that's made out of marble that's right next to you. Get out of here. You didn't build that. You didn't build that. You didn't even know how to survive. Yeah. Yeah, it's total war. Okay, yeah, but destruction is different. The destruction, see, with destruction, genocide is, a lot of times genocide is done for a good of a people. It could be, it's destruction too. You could interchange those words, but at the same time, if I just take the people out, that means I get all the spoils come with it. All the spoils come with war. Yeah, there's no spoils with destruction. That's why they always tell you that they discovered something or found something. No, the reason you found it is because you destroyed something or somebody destroyed something first, and that's why you had to go find it. You always got to find shit. If you tear down a building and you left something in the building, and you start taking that building apart brick by brick, start uncovering it, and you find what, and it takes years and years, it's decades for somebody to find it. They say, "Oh, I found this hidden treasure." No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was never It was never something that was hidden. It was a result of destruction that happened. You know what I mean? But that's what man does. The man just destroyed. You see, I love this girl, and my mother loved this girl, but I didn't like the way she smelled. Not that she stank, no, but her chemistry, makeup just didn't agree with me. Yeah, that's important. See, but a lot of times what they want you to do, they want you to get past that. So the whole deeper subject about that snuck you, and see, we don't even know. They don't even teach us. Is that what you're saying? Is that was a different being than you are? See, they don't teach us that. That was a different being than you. Even though you would call her human or whatever else, she was a different being. Because light beings have the same. We have the same type of ideas, and we got the same. That pheromones. That's what separates us. See, they separating us all by skin color and all that type of stuff, but no. Spirit is what separates you for real. The spirit of a woman and the spirit of a man is what separates you. And then also the physical aspect is those, like to say, the pheromones. Because usually the person with that type of the people that have that type of a pheromones, attractiveness to you, they going to probably have the same type of spirit too. All you do is just have a nice conversation with them. You'll find out. You'll find out who they are. But these old aggressive ass girls, man, they something else. I don't even knock girls like that, but they girls aggressive, man. Yeah, I run into a lot of them, but they too aggressive. Yeah, I'm too grown for that shit now. I'm like, I ain't into all that aggressive shit. Just tell them not. Just not into all that aggressive shit. I know guys that got married like that, had a family and everything. Like this guy, he had his wife was beautiful, man, real pretty. And you look at him, has no business with her. No business whatsoever. But she just took over his life, more or less. If you seen him, if you looked at him, you'll be looking at him like, they don't even match up. No, they don't match up. But she wears the pants though. She said, "You gonna be my husband, that's all it is to it." Like, God dang, really? It's supposed to be mutual though. I thought the man had more of the say. Because the man is the one that he asked you. He's in charge of that wedding stuff. You in charge of like anything physical that happened before that wedding. For the most part. But find somebody like what you said, that everybody liked her, but the physical chemistry wasn't there. Not the sexual thing, but the other part of the chemistry wasn't there. So I would say that for guys, that we need to have our mindset on somebody who actually likes us too. Don't just look at somebody like, oh man, she's beautiful. Don't look at it like that. Just look at, you might not end up with somebody who's actually beautiful. And plus, they're not going to stay like that anyway. So if you fall in love with somebody because of their beauty, then you're going to fall out of love with them. Because that was the wrong thing to fall in love with them for. It's because of their beauty, their booty, or their breasts. And once they lose it, then what? There ain't shit left. Now, like I could say some of their cuteness, because a lot of them, they don't lose all their cuteness, but they're going to lose it. But I would say to look at them at, not for the cuteness, but look at them that, that if they are, we never look into the future, which is not no such thing, but I'm just saying. But we don't look at when we start to decay, the more that we start to decay, if you can handle that, then it's a good matchup. If you look at a girl like, oh yeah, if you think she's gonna always look like that, then But if you can handle her and live with her and be like, yeah, she's starting to get wrinkles or whatever like that, I still love her, then that's a good matchup. You're gonna be able to match up. But if you can't take it, she had one baby, she got fat. You're like, you was never meant to be with her. You putting her on the leash and shit. Let's go for a walk. uh, she was loud. She said I tried to calm her, but couldn't control. You said calm her, but we control marriage. Okay. Ever been married before? Yeah. I suffered before. See, and here's the thing about it, man, is when you get with somebody, what happens is that a lot of times things are too good to be true. That was my case. That's what I ran into. Is that you look and you look and you search and you search and you search and you find somebody, everything they talk, everything they say is compliant to what you need. Oh shit, you like that? Oh, you do this? Oh, you do that? Your chest start getting bigger and bigger. You start blowing yourself up. Oh shit, yeah, yeah. You like this? Like yeah, boy, you got me a winner over here. You get like that, but it's like then you find out it wasn't nothing like that. It was like that, but at the same time, if you are with somebody, this is for me. It's just sharing information. If you can get somebody that can handle controversy and you being the man, they that they rely on you when it's your turn. They rely on you to handle it, and they go by your words. If you tell them, no, we got this, don't worry about it, and they say, okay, it's in your hands, that's gonna be a good matchup. It's easy, but it's hard to live this life, man. That's all. The whole point being is that yeah, they have to